What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-Hot Radio Shout, and as always, I got my podcast partner off in this thing, OG Gangsta Wicked, a.k.a. Big Galaxy of Ghetto Mafia.
Bam.
Hey, Wick, you know, the Diddy trial just started, man. A lot of stuff is coming out. You know, the opening statements have been released. The prosecution is painting Diddy as a sex trafficking, you know, monster. Mm-hmm. The defense is saying that, you know what, he might have had a little domestic violence, but he's not on trial for that. And then also he's a swinger, and that's how he gets down in his personal time.
Right.
That's where we're at so far with the trial. I mean, what have been your thoughts on what you've seen and heard so far, man?
It's very, very, very sticky. It's a lot of contradictions in the law itself.
Okay.
That a lot of people that are talking to me, mm-hmm. and you know, street guys.
Yeah.
They don't. It's kind of blurred. See, that's what I'm taking away from the whole thing. Is, you know, what's illegal and what's not, you know, legal. From what I'm kind of, you know, starting to gather, if I was to go to, let's say, Magic City, and I go there and I pay a woman to perform a service for me, that's okay. Mm-hmm. But if I solicit her to come to a party and do the same thing,
it's sex trafficking.
Then I'm trafficking then.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of got me blurred, because I've come up in a time where, you know what I'm saying, players have, you know, ordered women to come over, and I mean politicians do it. You know, some of the biggest entertainers do it. Athletes. It's a I've seen, you know, some of our greatest athletes, they have a party and they had the girls jumping out the cake and, you know, and going around the room and going to the back room, so blah, blah. So I get that. Hugh Hefner, exactly. He lived with a bunch of women. So, and he was praised by the other side.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot different than Hugh and Puff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was actually making money off his women, by, you know what I'm saying,
Playboy.
putting them on magazines and Playboy and stuff. Yeah. So I would think that would be having monetary gain. That would be, if you're going to say all the racketeering and stuff. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, actually making a profit. I don't see where Puff was making a profit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm hearing him say, well, Puff, you know, he flying the women in, and he flying the guys in, the sex workers and stuff, and I get it. If there's a rape involved from all that behavior, then that's criminal, and that should be dealt with. But I'm definitely not going to sit here and say, well, I think that Puff was selling drugs. Yeah. They talk about the drugs. He was giving them all drugs. The key word is giving. Yeah. I didn't see him buying kilos and chopping it down, and, you know, and hey, man, you know what I'm saying, go see the man in the back and have your $100 bill ready. You know, somebody sticking some money out, you know, sticking some drugs out the thing for pay. I didn't see, as I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying, the trial. Now, we can't see it on TV. I'm not seeing where he was profiting financially off of this stuff. So the racketeering part, you know what I'm saying, normally that's a organized scheme that comes with a profit. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Now, maybe they're saying the profit was him having great, you know, swinging sex. That was the profit. But monetary gain, I didn't see that part. Yeah. Now, Cassie, you know, said, you know, some things about urination in her mouth, and then the worker.
It wasn't her, it was the sex worker that said it. It was
the sex worker said it. The sex worker said it. But said that she paid him to do it. Yeah. That's what I meant. And, you know, I found that interesting. One thing that I do see in a lot of these cases, going back to Cosby, to even R. Kelly, to now to Puff, and we'll get into a Smokey Robinson in a minute. One thing I do see in a lot of these cases is that, you know, everybody that was involved was making at some point bad decisions to stay involved. Now, everybody has a reason why they stayed involved, and we give people passes.
I hate to cut you off, but I'm gonna just run down what the prosecutors are saying again too, so you'll know what's going on in the audience and know. The prosecutors, they're saying that Combs coerced women into drugged up group sexual encounters he called freak offs, wild king nights, or hotel nights, then kept them in line by choking, hitting, kicking, and dragging them, often by their hair. And that's pretty much where they're at with it. They're saying the sex parties are central to Combs' sexual abuse, prosecutors say. And basically, you know, Combs' company paid for the parties held in hotel rooms across the U.S. and overseas, and his employees staged the rooms with his preferred lighting, extra linens, and lubricant. And basically, Combs compelled women, including Cassie, to take drugs and engage in sexual activity with male escorts while he gratified himself and sometimes recorded them. And, you know, they saying that Combs would beat Cassie over the smallest slights, you know, such as leaving a freak off without his permission or taking too long in the bathroom. And that's pretty much where they're at with everything.
Right. So and going back to what I was saying, and I get that. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going on both sides. What I would see if I was a defense attorney, if I was Puff's lawyer, this is what I would be saying. Then if I was a prosecutor, this is what I would be saying. As a defense attorney, I would be saying, when these people left, like, you know, when he would beat her for leaving early, we did see a video. So it's hard to say that that wasn't his behavior. But she wasn't with Puff all the time. Puff had plenty of women. My thing is, a lot of times when I said that their bad decision on each side is going back. It's continuing the same behavior. I see that as a trend in a lot of these cases. I have been in relationships, so it's no excuse to me. Can't nobody tell me nothing about it, because I have been in relationships. My mom used to always say, if a female is abusing you, even as mentally, I'm a man, so she's not whooping my ass, but you know, that's still mental abuse when it comes to men. That's, you know, you don't live with women. We done been young. You've been locked out. You don't want to hid your keys. No, you know, when in your bank account, whatever the fuck ever. Mom would always say, get your pair of drawers and a toothbrush and get the fuck on. Other than that, don't keep calling me, coming back 20, 30, 40 times and claiming you the victim. You know what I'm saying? You know, man up. And when you get away, unless somebody holding you there with a gun, once you're able to leave, you should stay gone. You keep coming back. So these things that do jump out to me when I hear these cases a lot of times. Oh, that person did it over 20 years. But I kept going back every single time. I flew down and met him down there in Las Vegas. We're talking about the Shannon Sharp thing. You understand what I'm saying? He moved here, and I went and met him and moved there also with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said the lines are blurred. So now when is it, this is what we do. We're to the sadistic sex acts, and then when is it? You rape me. Enough is enough. Hey, choke me out at this time right here. You know, cuff me up, beat me. You know, this type of this wild sex that we do, but you know, this time we didn't do it. You understand what I'm saying? And I see a lot of that in these cases right there. Yeah, we did this type of stuff. Yeah, we participated in these freak offs. Yeah, we you know, I had sex with blah, 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 blah. But at this time right here, I said no. You know, and so that's why I said a lot of the guys, these are people that are talking to me. The lines are blurred. You know, now, I will say, Behind, you know, looking at it, you and I have always said this. You're a billionaire, you know, allegedly, or just even, you know, blessed as, you know, said a high-profile athlete, actor, entertainer, anything. With great reward, we hit all the time, comes great responsibility. You just can't do that jack shit. I don't think that if Puffy was a broke nigga, you know, that these freak offs would be a problem. I know plenty of broke niggas that don't have freak offs. I'm from the hood. I'm from the hood. Let's all cut the bullshit. But at the same time, you do have to understand, you know, who you are. You're Shannon Sharp. You're Puff Daddy. You're Art Kelly. you're gonna be viewed differently. You have the bag. So therefore, you know what I'm saying? People are gonna come at you, male and female, whoever you got involved in these things. They wouldn't do it if you were broke. So I see a lot of that. Has Puffy done anything illegal? I wasn't there, so I don't know. It definitely sounds like it from what the prosecution is saying, arguing that that he would have guys that are choking and pulling them and kind of making them do it. There, one of the females said she didn't want to do it after she got there because some of these females are saying that hey, yeah, I did go there to shake a little ass and get some money thrown at me, but I didn't know that when I got there I was gonna get drugged and wake up with 5 niggas. You know what I'm saying? Don't be standing over me. See, so that is a crime. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know, did that happen or not? I don't know if I went to the party to, if you went to the party to get some money thrown at you, strip a little bit or something, and then it went into something extra. How do we know that unless we see it, unless there's some video that the prosecution can show us? Just by Puff saying, hey, no, that didn't happen, and then a female or the male say, yeah, that did happen. Who do I believe? Do I need to see that? But one thing I did see was Puffy whoop Cassie ass. I saw that on video. So when she says, when I would leave the party, he would whoop my ass, I saw video. It looks like that's the truth. Yeah. If I'm a juror, that makes sense to me. Hey, guilty on that charge right there.
But he ain't being tried for that.
So right now it's just it's a mess. I do know it's a gumbo of a lot of shit. Some people are money grabbing. Puff has made some fucked up decisions. I think he is a swinger and a freak. And I think at the same time that some of the parties did get out of hand and niggas crossed the line up in there in the party. So I think all of it is got a little bit of truth to it. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm standing right there. I don't discredit all the people that were involved in the party and say, hey, yeah, I did go to the party. I only went for this though. Yeah. And then, I woke up and it was this. Yeah. I believe some of them. I believe Puffy when he's saying, no, some of these people came with the intent to do this. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Now they screaming victim. Yeah. And I believe also that, you know what I'm saying, that some of the parties got violent. From me seeing Puffy on the video what he did with Cassie, I see a man that will go there with you. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of all of it from what I'm seeing right now.
Do you think he's going to beat this case, or do you think they're going to railroad him?
At the end of the day, a lot of people said that this stemmed from the liquor companies back in getting sued or blah blah blah, and that maybe he has pissed off the wrong person. How pissed off is the people that he has pissed off? Are they willing to go as far as as to railroad him? Has he learned? We think you don't learn your lesson. We don't humble you down. We don't hit your pockets. We don't humble you. We'll put you in jail for a little while, and we get out and we see if we can work again. I don't know the extent of how bad our relationship is. The power that be that's probably pulling strings behind a lot of this stuff, because a lot of times there are puppet masters that are behind that, and there's we see something on the surface, but there's something deeper behind a lot of this stuff, especially when it comes to our black men. And anybody walking around thinking that they just want to take care of the black women that Puffy was abusing. Come on, there's some shit. Behind a lot of this stuff. Oh, they just wanted to make sure that R. Kelly was doing, he had too many girls living with him. You know what I'm saying? Well, in that case there, he haven't had a lot of girls living with him too, just as you pointed out a little while ago. I didn't see the same energy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So all of this is ugly. But at the end of the day, I say this all the time. We put ourselves, Mama used to always say, 99% of the problems that you have, young man, whether somebody wronged you, whether they lying on you, whether they telling the truth about you, You put yourself in that position. Nothing happens good at 3 a.m. in the morning, at clubs, at freak-offs, in the dope trap, on the corner, nothing. You should have your ass in the house with your family and preparing for tomorrow to do something that's gonna make your future better. And if you're not doing that, this is the type of shit that you get.
Now, what about Smokey though? With, you know, Smokey over here, 85 years old. They're saying that, you know, that silky voice that he had, he was using it to rape his housekeepers.
I'm not laughing at the allegations.
They said he had a silky smooth voice
when
he commanded them to do what they did.
So you said Smokey the gorilla pimp.
They said that silky smooth voice was really just a hidden gorilla pimp behind it. See, you know, they come from that old school. See, him, Michael Jackson, all them Jacksons had the softest voices ever, but your daddy was off the damn chain. So, you know, it's some gorilla pimping going on.
Right. And the whole thing, man, Ike and all of Tina.
Exactly.
They said Tina was gangster too.
Come on.
Tina, you know, a lot of people paint Tina as the victim.
Exactly.
They said Tina was gorilla pimping.
Was over there gorilla pimping too.
All of them had the one nail too.
Exactly.
The long nail.
Come on.
This Smokey,
man.
I mean, I don't know what to think. One thing that like I said, I read a little bit of it. There's not a lot of information that's coming out more and more. What we do know right now, these are housekeepers. Smokey was married, so some of them are alleging that the wife, you know, helped facilitate a lot of these things or didn't care. There again, you know, a lot of the housekeepers, you know, it said in the article that they kept coming back because they didn't want to miss a check. This happened over years and years and years. And that's what be the thing for me right there. You know, how does a person get raped 30 times? You know, I mean, make it make sense to me. Yeah. You know, there are people, I guess, will come in the comments and be like, you know, I was raped 30 times. Well, I just have always been, if I get in any kind of way, if I get burnt, I'm not coming back. You know what I'm saying? Get me gonorrhea. I'm goddamn get the hell on. Slap me out if I wake up with a drug, nigga, in my thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hanging around y'all no more.
Come on.
I don't hang around niggas that's putting drugs in goddamn motherfucking shit. If I even knew some niggas,
come on,
that was, you know, carrying on like that. I come to a party and a nigga like, hey man, I got these things, man. When the hoes get here, I'm gonna drop that. I'm leaving then. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not even going to stay around for my name to even come up. Well, you know, my drink, I saw Wick there. My drink got drugged, and then when I woke up, Wick was still there looking crazy. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the type of things that I'm just from the streets that I say, oh, that ain't going to go well.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? That ain't going to go. Yeah. If one of the housekeepers was my mother, my auntie, my sister, and in time you know, they come and confide in me one time.
Come on.
About something. Hey, you know, I want to tell you, you know, Smokey, we were going over that deep and whooping Smokey's ass. You understand? So we're gonna nip this in the bud right now.
Come on.
You feel what I'm saying? And after we whoop Smokey's ass, then we may go, you know, hey, and you need to go sue this nigga. You know what I'm saying?
What if he told you that it was just her imagination? What do you say then when he hits you with that silky smooth voice? I didn't do that. It was just her imagination, my friend.
I don't.
Can you really beat a man's ass like Smokey Robinson?
It's just
you gotta let Smokey ride.
You know, be high. It's right now, you know, I don't want to say the wrong thing because I never want to discredit a victim. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, my final, you know, synopsis with a lot of these things is there was a perfect storm of somebody, a lot of times doing misbehaving things.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he still is Smokey Robinson.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he still has been pretty much rich most of his life.
Yeah.
And with great reward comes great responsibility. And certain stuff you just can't carry on a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
We know that. But at the same time over here, if you did see somebody carrying on that way, you come back, for over a 10-year period.
Yeah.
Same thing with the girl with the OnlyFans with Shannon. He choked me out for 5 years.
Yeah.
A 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, whatever. But this time I kept going back and following him and moving. But this time, that was enough. So, and I see the same kind of thing over, with all these cases. And I think it's just like I said, it's a New Orleans gumbo. You know what I'm saying, with a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are making bad decisions. And then by the time it gets to us and the people out there, we don't know who the fuck to believe because the inconsistencies on both sides. We like, well, damn, you stayed there for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Doing it, you got raped how many times?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But then we lean over here to the actor, the entertainer, the ball player, and say, you knew better than that.
Yeah.
You're rich and famous.
Yeah.
Why are you even having freak offs?
Yeah.
Why are you even having these type of parties? Why are you walking around naked in front of the housekeepers?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And blah blah blah. So it's just we don't really know.
And then also though, Wick, I gotta ask you this: what if Smokey and Diddy and everybody and Shannon told everybody this is what it is before we get started?
Correct. And then later on, when people, they slow down and money get funny, you get a zealous lawyer, that can say, hey, I can find these black men, because I knew all of them like to snort cocaine and have freak-offs. So let me figure out a way to make it a crime up in here. Let me get a few of these. We do know now, for anybody out there, if you think that the law gives a fuck about us, you know what I'm saying? I got some land to sell you.
Come on.
You feel me? I know from personal experiences, being in and out of jails for certain things. Never been to prison, but I have been in my fair share of trouble, and I have seen how the system will turn crumbs into bricks and paint me out to be a monster on just something that was minute. Hey man, I was over there, me and my girl got to arguing. Now all of a sudden, by the time I got to court, I was a serial abuser.
Come on.
You were stalking her. No, I wasn't stalking. It shows you right here where we met up together. Well, you did this, so you did that. Look, nigga, what we did was we met up at McDonald's to exchange the baby, because I didn't want her coming to my house. She didn't want me to come to her house. I cussed her out on the goddamn way out and said, bitch, get your shit right. And now all of a sudden, y'all knocking at my door talking about I don't backhandle her. You understand what I'm saying? This how just simple shit. I ain't saying that happened with me.
Yeah.
I'm saying I have seen these type of things that turn crumbs into bricks when it comes to black men and the law. So I'm not sitting up here because they have told me that Smokey, that Stephen Shannon Shaw, that Puff, they 100% did this right here, and I'm like, yeah, well, he must have had done it. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, nah, they gonna have to prove all of this stuff. And once again, my theory, Wick, is like, you just gotta square it up once you get to a certain level.
Correct.
Because
correct,
these things happen, and it's looking like, ain't nobody safe from this. So it's like, come on, man, we gotta play it safe. You'd rather be safe than sorry.
Safe than sorry, yeah.
That's why I'm at with it,
absolutely.
man. Y'all hit the comments. Let us know how you feel about it.
Yes.
You got anything you want them to know?
On May the 23rd, you're gonna be dropping my video on the channel with Young Bleed, Kane from Yin Yang Twins, and Planet Pete. Coalition DJs up in there, man. Shout out Young Dro up in there, Mac Boney up in there, Jose Guapo. You know what I'm saying? I got the whole. I got the whole. Yes, got Marvin Arrington up in there. So everybody's in the video. It's gonna be hot, and y'all come follow me at the Real Ghetto Mafia if you want to cuss me out, or you want to goddamn talk a little shit with me.
Y'all heard the man. Get down with the movement. Be Hot Radio, shout it, Big Galaxy. Holla at y'all in a minute, man. We go.